It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak here at this exciting event. I hope right now isn't your post-lunch nap time. Either way, I'll try to keep you awake. My name, as you probably heard, like this. No worries. My name is Simo Mulle. I work in sponsorship and partnership at MS Sports. We are the biggest provider for kids' sport camps in Switzerland. Over the next 30 minutes, I'll tell you a story. How a small idea turned into 20,000 children running around each year, and how Screver has helped us not to lose our minds in this process. And don't worry, it's not about complicated statistics, no KPIs, and definitely no motivational quotes from my side. It's just a real story about real children and the real partnership. First, I'll introduce you to MS Sports, because I'm not sure how familiar you are with the work we are doing. Then I'll explain the different projects we are having with the different kinds of sports and show you how the Screver tool, we use it to collect feedback and how it improved our game the whole year. Finally, I'll show you how our partnership with Screver improves our internal processes, how it optimizes how we work as an organization, and how we work with our partner and sponsors especially. You'll notice that my focus is especially on customer experience today. That's because, in my opinion, at MS Sports, we are not that far ahead with AI, even though this is an AI bubble event as well. But maybe, since this is a co-working and collaboration event as well, maybe you guys have an idea, and at the end, you can tell me what we can do better at MS Sports. First, MS Sports was introduced in 2007 by this man here, Mario Sager. He's the founder and the CEO. When he was injured during his football career, he had, after his Matura, plenty of idea and plenty of times. That's when he came up with a simple but very powerful concept. He started football camps for children during the school holidays. It started with just one camp, organized by Mario and a few of his friends. But year after year, the idea grew, and it became more and more. There were more children, there were more different kinds of sports, and there were more camps. Mario and MS Sports does not want only to reach the boys that are interested in football, he also wanted to reach the girls. And then his idea was to introduce two new concepts. It was first the horseback riding camps and then the dance camps. Fast forward to now, we now have, you'll see it in the graph, over 20,000 children that are visiting us every year at our camps and at our events. And it's no longer just a few friends running the show. Right now at MS Sports, we employ 40 people. Some are part-time, some are full-time staff, and they are doing the whole planning and operations. Furthermore, we have 950 freelancers who work as a camp trainer and as instructors during the different camp formats. Our core business, as I've mentioned, are our camps. Each year, we organize over 400 different camps in over 260 locations throughout the whole Switzerland. We cover all 4 language regions and all cantons in Switzerland. Because school holidays often vary between the cantons in Switzerland, that makes us of about 35 or 36 weeks in the year that we can do camps. As I mentioned earlier, it's over 20,000 children each year. Now I would like you to introduce to some of our camp formats. It is different sports. I will start with our youngest one. It's the Victorinox Outdoor and Sport Camps. They're like all about a mix of nature experience, like carving wood or starting a fire, along with physical activities. It's about teaching kids how to enjoy and respect the outdoors. It's, as I've mentioned, our newest project. We started it 3 years ago in 3 stages. At first, there was just one camp with no sponsors. We wanted to test it, see how it goes. Then we did 3 camps last year. And right now, it's the first year that is officially a part of our portfolio. It's called Victorinox Outdoor and Sport Camps. You hear it already. Now we have sponsors on board. The second camp is the Acer Nitro Gaming and Sport Camps. You hear it in the name. It's a combination between sport and gaming. We split the day between the two of them. We think it might motivate kids who would not attend a regular camp. And Mario was first strongly against the idea of including gaming camps in our portfolio because he wanted that MS Sports is all about real-life movement. What we think right now, it works very well because the children realize at our camp that gaming is even more fun when you combine it with outdoor experiences. Then we have the Rotel Racket Camps. Screver is actually a sponsor of the racket camps. Formerly, it was just tennis. We rebranded it now to include all different racket sports, like, for example, paddle, who is experiencing a real hype. So it's really great that we have this in this project. Then we have our largest project, the Swisscom football camps. Of course, football is the biggest sport in Switzerland. It was also the foundation of MS Sports. The first camp was also a football camp. We work together with the local clubs and offer young kickers a chance to play even during the school holidays. Then we've got our Swiss bike park camps. They are teaching children safe and fun mountain biking activities and techniques. It's including how to overcome obstacles, how to navigate trails. And it's a really fast-growing sport and a great way to ensure that the kids get to their schools safely on their respective bikes. Then our Aldi Sport Camps, it's our second biggest offering. It's all about polysportive. We learn the kids, they get to try different kinds of sports, different activities. They can try, for example, basketball, handball, volleyball, or ninja warrior parkour, or trampoline. The list goes on and on and on. It's just a whole week of fun. Then the Raiffeisen snow camps, they're only camps that are during the winter time. They're much like regular snow camps, maybe we've all experienced as kids. And yeah, they get to spend a week in the mountains and have fun on the ski and on the snowboard. As I've mentioned, the Hauptner riding camps, the focus is on the farm and the horse experience. The children, as I've mentioned, there are a lot of girls, spend the whole week on the farm and can learn all about horses. Also, with more than 90% girls at the moment are the Metro Boutique dance camps. It's all about rhythm, expression, and dancing for a whole week. They get to learn like teamwork on the dance floor and so on. To give you a little feeling of what a camp day looks like and what it's like on site, I would like to show you a short video. It is from the racket camps, but this concept can be projected to do all different kinds of sports. It always is a little bit the same, just the sports change.
Das Racket Camp ist für alle Kinder, die gerne Sportarten mit Schlägen ausprobieren.
Tennis, Squash, Badminton,
Racket Paddle, die wir neu dabei haben, zum Teil auch Tischtennis. Die Kinder können so in die verschiedenen Sportarten rund um die Schläger hineinschnuppern. Für jedes Kind etwas dabei und es kann ohne Vorkenntnis für einen mitmachen und wird sehr schnell Spaß machen. Die Kids lernen in dieser Woche Sportarten kennen, alle Grundlagen, alle Regeln und wie man sehr schnell Spaß im Schwimmplatz haben. Wir treffen uns am Racket Camp am halb 10, sodass wir am 10 eher auf den Platz gehen können. So haben wir um 12 noch unsere Trainings in verschiedenen Sportarten und treffen uns alle miteinander wieder am Mittag zum gemeinsamen Mittagessen. Nach dem Mittagessen gibt es ein kurzes Aktivierungs- und Beschäftigungsprogramm, zum Beispiel ein Lotto machen mit den Kindern oder Ball- und Spielkisten, diverse Quiz zum Tennis oder zu den verschiedenen Sportarten, so dass wir dann am 2 wieder loslegen können, bis am 4 und die Kinder eigentlich abgeholt werden. Das Highlight in einer Racket-Woche ist sicher auch eine Flyline-Challenge, die wir machen. Das sind verschiedene Posten, wie zum Beispiel Tennisball oder Zielschießen, aber auch verschiedene Schlagübungen, die die Trainer mit den Kindern machen. Das Zweite ist sicher der letzte Tag, wo wir das Turnier haben, auch in den verschiedenen Sportarten, wo sie dürfen zeigen, was sie gelernt haben und um den Titel gekämpft haben.
Ich komme wahrscheinlich nochmal in den Wettkampf, wie es Spaß macht. Was mir am besten gefallen hat, sind die Trainer. Die sind sehr nett und auch lustig.
Sie haben uns gut Theorie und das Praktische erklärt.
Ich habe gelernt für einen Tanzmove und Umschlag.
Ich habe recht viele neue Freunde gefunden und wir haben es auch zusammen lustig gehabt. In der Garderobe, am Esstisch und sonst einfach auf dem Platz.
Essen war sehr fein.
Das ganze Camp war eigentlich sehr cool und ich empfehle euch, dass ihr auch kommt.
Outside of our camps, we also act as a professional sports agency with our focus on children and families. For example, we've organized large-scale events for example, the Lucerne Cantonal Bank, for Swiss Ice Hockey Federation, or as you see in this picture, for the Folk supermarkets. These events give us the chance to go beyond our typical camp environment and give us, of course, additional reach. Another important pillar of MS Sports is the MS Sports Partner Club, which I am especially involved in. All our sponsors are automatically members, including some outside companies that are just there for these events. We aim to build a strong MS Sports family by creating shared experiences and networking opportunities. We host 5 to 6 events each year, such as our recent trip to the CSIO Horse Show, where Orlin was with us. And these events help us build strong B2B relationships and give partners like Screver as well a platform to showcase their products, to connect and to network. Our partnership with Screver started in a very personal way. Our CEO, Mario, sat next to Christian from Screver at an event, and they started talking, liked each other, and shook hands on a deal. It was no written contract, just mutual trust in the beginning. And it worked. The partnership now is in its 4th year. We are now entering our 4th season with Screver. They're not only on board as a partner, but also as a long-term trusted provider of our business tool for the service. We've created in this a little more than 3 years over 1,000 surveys and collected more than 12,000 responses with it. So who do we ask and how do we ask them? We collect feedback from coaches, from the camp leaders, from the children and their respective parents. Trainers fill out a structured survey once a year, and every camp day ends with a feedback round between the camp leaders and the trainers. This allows immediate improvements on site. For the long-term improvements, we of course have the survey. For the children, we send the survey via the WhatsApp parent chat at the end of the camp, ideally to be filled out together between the parents and the children. But beyond that, we also encourage face-to-face conversations with the children to hear their voices directly at our camps. Because our situation is kind of tricky. The children are our main customers, but they don't actually pay. It's the parents who are deciding, but of course, the children can and will influence them in their decisions. Screver helps us bridge these both worlds. The surveys are playful and colorful for the children, yet they're meaningful and clear for the parents. This dual appeal helps us get more responses, better feedback, and helps us to do more informed decisions. The great thing about children is they do not sugarcoat things. They tell you things exactly the way they think it are. 3 weeks ago at a racket camp, a young girl told me I look like 65, like her grandfather. Yeah, it's not that great for my well-being, but for our company, it's actually amazing because if there is something wrong with our camps, the children will tell us. And because children are usually the most important thing in the lives of the parents will take their time to fill out the survey because a lot of them want to send their children to an MS Sports camps in the future yet again. I would like to show you some types of the questions we ask. First, we want to know how the parents and the kids heard about us. This helps us evaluate our marketing mix, and we were surprised to find how effective offline marketing still is, even in today's digital world. How was your camp experience? We asked the kids directly how much they enjoyed the camp. If they rated poorly, they have immediately the option to explain why and tell us what we have to do to make improvements. How did the food taste for you? We ask for feedback on the meals. They are valuable insights we share with our catering partners. Over the years, we could use all the feedback we got on our catering partners to create a catering concept or a food concept which most of the children will like. Of course, everybody is different. There are some kids that only eat bread, but we have now a concept and can share that with our catering partners that most of the children will like at our camps. One key question for my team is which sponsors did the parents or the kids notice, either in the parent WhatsApp chat or during the camp. This helps us measure the effectiveness of the sponsorship activations, and we can further evaluate which sponsors we have to focus on more during the week, so in the end, everyone gets recognized. Another question focuses on which sponsor were most positively remembered. Screver, for example, hands out sweatbands at the racket camps, and the kids love them, I can tell you. This shows the true power of creative activations beyond just the regular logos. Of course, we see each year, the bigger the logo, the better, of course, but with there can a lot be gained with creative ideas such as this one. We also ask about the performance of the camp leaders. It's both insightful for the camp leaders, for themselves, for their future, but also as us for a company. Dear parents, did you feel like your kid was well kept at MS Sports? We want to ensure the parents feel safe and confident in us. We receive an incredible amount of trust, and we take that responsibility very seriously. If there is a serious issue, like a kid that got bullied or maybe a kid got hurt, we always try to reach out personally if we didn't already during the camp. How did you find updates via the parent WhatsApp chat? Parents receive daily updates through WhatsApp, often including sponsor offers. This survey helps us recognize whether that's seen as helpful service or simply as too much. It's always a fine line between value and spam. For our sponsors, the chat is of course a great tool to reach the parents directly, and the parents can benefit from great offers. But we have to guarantee that the chat doesn't become an overload. We want to keep it fun, engaging, and the offers should always be something great for the parents. We want also to know if parents see sponsor activities as valuable, or if they prefer less advertising and higher camp fees in return. With this question, we inform the parents the camp can only be offered to this low rate because and thanks to sponsors. And we ask them, how did they like the sponsoring presence? With the data gathered, we can assess our dependability on sponsors. Most parents are very happy and very thankful for the sponsors that allow them to guarantee a lower camp fee. That aligns with our vision at MS Sports that every kid should have the possibility to join one of our camps, no matter the financial background. There is even a foundation that offers 80% price reduction if a family can afford the camp with us. Another key question, is the price right for you? It's about price elasticity. How sensitive are parents to pricing changes? This data is also crucial for our financial planning of how expensive the camps can and should be. We also give the parents the option to speak directly to one of our camp leaders. Outside of the survey, each survey includes a contact email to the project leader. We want feedback to feel personal and meaningful. If there is something they want to tell us that doesn't sit well in a survey, they can contact them directly and we will reach out to them, of course. And each survey ends with a fun message or a joke. We want the kids to see it more of as in a game than just a regular boring survey. These days, each service provider sends you a survey. We want to stand out. I have an experience, the local gym where I went when I went to university sent me one survey after each visit. So it can get a little overwhelming. We want to overcome that by doing it in a creative and fun way. We also run surveys for our events and our coaches' feedback. We want open, honest input, and we want to improve year after year with that. From events, we can gather useful information for the following events that are quite similar to it, or maybe we can do the same event in the next year as well. Our survey for the coaches helps tremendously because they are like the heart of the camp. The coaches train with the children, they eat with the children, they make the children laugh, and it's very important that they feel well with us. Our rising camp numbers come hand in hand with the difficulty to find enough qualified and motivated trainers. And we do not want to compromise the quality of the trainers because we can't find enough of them. Quality for us comes always first, and that's why it's so important that the trainers are first happy with us, and second can tell us if there's something we can do for them to work more efficiently. Because if the coaches are having fun at our camps, the children will most likely are having fun as well. Working closely with the kids allows us to continuously improve all our processes. At the end of each project, the camp leaders gather all the information from the surveys and evaluate using the Screver tool. Based on their takeaways, they can follow up within the specific group. For example, to see what can be optimized, for example, in the catering department, or if the preparation was not right, we can check with each specific group, and he is the closest to the task. From a strategic point of view, we use the feedback to make adjustments to MS Sports as a whole. And from my own perspective in sponsorship, we can analyze how the different brand activations are perceived, which sponsors stand out positively, and which activations were really fun for the children. This helps us understand what kind of activations resonate with the children and which ones don't. It's not just about visibility, it's always about creating a meaningful and lasting experience between the children or the parents and the sponsors. A recent example I would like to share is how we turned feedback into action is a project based on a common requests from parents. Many of them told us they would love to drop off their kids a little bit earlier and pick them up a little bit later, simply to better manage their workday. We took that feedback seriously and developed a concept for extended supervision hours. Thanks to the Screver tool, we were able to ask the parents directly if they'd be interested in this concept. And the insight was incredibly valuable, and it came directly from our users. We also used the survey to find out how much the parents would be willing to pay for this extra supervision. This helped us assess whether the concept would be financially viable and if the extra effort on our side would be worth it. On top of that, we were able to measure the overall demand and identify which regions showed the most interest in this service. Thanks to this data, we can make an informed decision instead of just guessing. And the result, starting this year, we now offer selected camps with extended supervision hours. This is a perfect example of how we identified the need, tested the demand, analyzed the pricing, and implemented it all based on customer feedback. The last example I'd like to share is a survey which we conducted with our sponsors and partners in 2023. A total of 72 companies gave us feedback on our sponsorship packages and overall collaboration. It was incredibly insightful experience and sparked a level of honest feedback we didn't know if we would have gathered if we just asked them personally. We were able to identify why the sponsors work with us, and the main reasons mentioned were, of course, the brand awareness, image, and the high level of support they receive from us. Another interesting insight was that the logo visibility is still very important to our sponsors. It goes somewhat against the current digital trend, but our flyers, our our printed brochures are very much still appreciated. That's why we've decided to continue producing them. In fact, over 80% of our sponsors and partners said we should do still the printed version with the sponsoring ads instead of doing a fully digital version. We also gained valuable insights on which social media platforms are most relevant for our partners and which ones we should focus on in the future. And at the same time, we discovered a few things that weren't so great and that our sponsors weren't happy about. All these things we've learned are incredibly valuable for our sponsorship work and helped us to strengthen our relationship with our partners even further. At MS Sports, we listen and we value what our kids, our sponsors, our coaches, and our partners have to say. And thanks to Screver, we were able to have a tool that makes this listening easier, faster, and more actionable than last time. I'm very thankful that you're all listening to me today. Maybe you can have our little conversation later on if you have any suggestions how we could introduce AI to our sponsoring camps. If you have any suggestions to sponsoring or the B2B events, I'd be happy to connect. Thank you very much and have a great rest of the day.